Okay, so many of you are going to receive a spreadsheet for your Lab 4 data that looks something like this. So it's a little bit different format than what I showed you in a previous video. I just want to walk you through how to calculate averages, standard deviation, and standard errors in this format. It's exactly the same like the other spreadsheet, just things look a little bit different here. But first of all, so in the column A here, this is where your treatments are and the measurements for each component of fitness. So for example, here's treatment 1, the plan height of the purple morph, treatment 1, plan height of the white morph, treatment 1, average length of the purple morph, treatment 1, average length of the white morph, and so on all the way down here. So all of these are in one sheet. Over here are the numbers that were submitted by the students. The blanks are just places where the data weren't collected, and so we just leave those as blanks. So what I want to do here, first I just want to increase the size of the font a little bit. I have old eyes. So I just might make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more user-friendly. I'm going to delete this cell. I don't need that column there. And I'm just going to bold this. I like to have things in bold. That just helps me visually. What I also am going to do is I'm going to insert a row. So I'm going to go up to Insert, Insert a Row. The reason I'm doing that is I want to create a column here I'm going to call the mean. Then I'm going to create a column I'm going to call the standard deviation. And then I'm going to create a column I'm going to call the standard error. I'm going to format these cells again so it just looks a little bit neater. Format the cell where I'm going to do this thing called wrap text. We'll wrap the text, makes it a little bit neater. And again, this is my pickiness. I'm going to center those just so it looks nicer. Let's do that just so I'm consistent. Okay. And let's do bold. Sorry, can't help myself. Okay, so let's calculate average. So just like in the previous spreadsheet that I showed you, the command for average, you do an equal sign for a formula, and you just type average, and the command pops up. Then just like before, I'm going to highlight the cells of the data I want to calculate the average for, hit close parentheses, hit return. You notice the blanks here? This formula is not, there's nothing there, so it's not going to influence the average. If I were to add values there, say if I added a 1, so let's add a 3, hit return, you can see that average change because I added a pretty high value there. I'm going to hit undo, because I don't want the 3 in there because that wasn't part of the data. But that's the average. And then just like before, I can grab the little corner here, I can drag it all the way down, and I've copied that formula all the way down. That's the average values for all these data. Same thing for standard deviation, equals STDEV. Highlight the cells I want to take the standard deviation for. Close parentheses, hit return. Calculated standard deviation, again, copy all that down. Voila, I'm done. So very quick. Standard error. Again, the standard error is your standard deviation divided by the square root of your sample size. And your TAs are going to work to try to have the same sample size for all the data points here, but you can see these can be a little bit different depending on the different component of fitness. So still it's equals for the formula, standard deviation, and divide that by the square root of my sample size. And so for treatment 1 here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points. So it's 8 raised to 0.5. That's the standard error. Then I can do the same thing here. It's a standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 raised to 0.5 gives me the square root. And again, I just can't copy that down unless all of these data points here are exactly the same. So I had 8 in this row, 8 in this row, 8 in this row, and so on. But that's not true. So I'm going to have to do that for each one of these. I'll just do one more. Again, the standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points. So in this case, it was also 8 raised to the 0.5. So you're going to want to do that for each one of these. If your TA gives you a spreadsheet where there's the same number of data points for each of the components of fitness, then you could just copy that formula down. So here's how to calculate the mean, standard deviation, and standard error, and you're going to use this for the data analysis part of your lab.